The second method for solving a percent problem is to translate directly from the words. Words can be translated into math symbols to form an equation. In the chart below, the words listed in the left column, is, of, and what, can be translated into symbols. Is translates into equals. We use the equal sign. Of translates into multiplication. We use a dot to represent multiply. What is the missing value? We can use any letter as a variable to represent the missing value. Translating will look very similar to what you solved using the percent equation. For example, 25% of 120 is what? Translation, 25 hundredths times 120 equals A. A will be the variable that represents the missing amount. Since we're multiplying the two factors together, 25 hundredths times 120 equals 30. A equals 30. 25% of 120 is 30. Let's try another example. 75% of 200 is what? Again, we're missing an amount. We will represent that by the variable A. 75% is 75 hundredths, of is multiply, and 200 is our base. 75 hundredths times 200 is 150. We solve for A, the missing amount. A equals 150. 75% of 200 is 150. Let's use translation to solve a percent problem with a missing base. We will translate 25% of what is 30. 25% translates into 25 hundredths. Of is multiply. What is the variable B representing our unknown base? Equals is, and our amount 30. B is a base. It is a factor. To solve for a missing factor, you'll use division. 30 divided by 25 hundredths equals 120. B equals 120. 25% of 120 is 30. Let's look at another example. 75% of what is 150? Translate 75% as 75 hundredths, of as multiplication, and what as the variable B representing our missing base. Is translates to equals, our amount 150. Because the base is a factor and we have a factor missing, we will use division. Take the amount 150, divide by the percent 75 hundredths. Your base equals 200. B equals 200. 75% of 200 is 150. Now, let's use translation to find a missing percent. What percent of 120 is 30? What percent will be represented by the variable P? Of multiplication, 120, our base, is equal sign, amount 30. Because the percent is a factor and we are missing that factor, we will use division. 30 divided by 120 equals 25 hundredths. P equals 25 hundredths. This is the decimal form of the percent, which now you will need to change into the percent number. Multiply the value of P by 100 and attach the percent symbol. 25%. 25% of 120 is 30. Let's try one more example. What percent of 200 is 150? Again, let's use the variable p for the missing percent of multiplication. The base 200 is the equal sign, the amount 150. Again, because we're missing a factor, the percent, we're going to use division. 150 divided by 200 equals 75 hundredths. P equals 75 hundredths. Again, to change P into the percent number, we multiply by 100 and attach the percent symbol. 75%. 75% of 200 is 150. Let's use direct translation to solve a percent word problem. Carla ate 20% of the cookies in the box. The full box contained 50 cookies. How many cookies did Carla eat? Let's find out. First, we write a simplified problem. 20% of 50 is what? Then we translate. 20% times 50 equals A. We'll change our percent into the decimal form. 21 hundredths times 50 equals A. After multiplying, we get the answer 10. Carla ate 10 cookies. Let's use direct translation to solve another word problem. Robin drove 50% of the way to Boston before stopping for lunch. Robin stopped for lunch after driving 40 miles. How far is Boston from where Robin began driving? First, write our word problem in simplified form. 50% of what is 40? Do a direct translation. 50% times B equals 40. B is our base. It's a missing factor. We're going to use division. 40 divided by 51 hundredths equals B. B equals 80. The distance from Boston, from where Robin began, is 80 miles. Let's try one more word problem using direct translation. Milo took a test containing 20 questions. He got 17 questions correct. What percent did he earn on his test? First, let's set up a simplified problem. What percent of 20 is 17? Now we'll do a translation. P times 20 equals 17. Because P is a factor and it's missing, we'll use division. 17 divided by 20 equals P. P equals 85 hundredths. This is the decimal form of the percent. Remember, you will need to multiply by 100 in order to attach the percent symbol. Milo earned 85% on his test.